Hi, I'm Dawn, and this is where Shabby meets Bling.
You're watching Furniture Flippin' Saturday. I'd like to thank my co-host Crystal from the Crafty Creech for joining me tonight. You're going to find the links to her channel and this playlist in my description box below.
Let me introduce to you contestant number 1. She is a garden bench and hails from the great state of Illinois. She has come to us because she's in dire need of assistance, a makeover, and potentially a home forever. And here I bring you contestant number 2, also from the great state of Illinois, found at a garage sale. This coffee table belongs in a house, but not after today. This will become a porch dweller. She was purchased for $10 in a bundle with many other items. We will see if either of our contestants can reach their full potential. Let the makeovers begin. Wish them luck.
Okay, that's enough messing around. It's time to get busy. I need to figure out what I need to do to this garden bench. She's a beauty, but she's kind of a mess. First thing I'm going to do is brush it down really well to remove as much of the dirt, the dust, and the loose paint as possible. That way, I will know where to begin with her makeover. As I was brushing it down, I found this area right here on the leg, and it is rotten. There's a chunk of it that was totally rotten. I used my scraper to scrape out anything that was not solid wood. Now, I am going to use my wood filler to fill in the gap. This stuff is amazing. It is going to dry as hard as that wood, if not harder. I take a really good amount of wood filler and I press it into that cavity. I am molding that wood filler like clay, so it fits the form of the leg. The leg is tapered, so I need this wood filler to be tapered as well. That way when I sand it down, it will look like it was always there, or at least darn close. Until this filler dries thoroughly, my bench is not structurally sound, not safe to sit on. If you notice right back here, there's another area that I'm going to need to repair that is just as decayed. Take a look at this. I mean, what a mess. I can just peel this away. I am going to treat this exactly the same way as I did the leg. I'm going to peel out as much of that rotten wood as I can and then fill it in with that really good wood filler. While all that wood filler is really drying well, I'm going to start sanding. I am using my battery-operated palm sander and a scraper to get off as much of this loose paint as possible. This bench is old. I mean, it's really old. It's older than my kids. So it's never going to look new, and I don't want it to look new. That's the glory of something like this. I just need to get it to the point where it looks really pretty, but you can still see that she's got some age to her. As I kept sanding, I saw that there was more than 2 coats of paint on this. There is a black on top, and then below that was kind of like a blue color, and then there was something else, kind of maybe white-ish, very thin layer of paint, and then I got down to the bare wood, which is teak. This is a teak bench. I sanded for what seemed like hours. It really seemed to take me forever. Trying to get in between those slats on the seat was nearly impossible, but I just kept on plugging because I knew in the end it would be worth it. I got as much of that loose paint off as possible, and then I turned my attention to the leg. The leg has dried really well. I'm going to let my repair to the underneath part of the seat dry just a little bit longer. I will work around it until I feel it is dry enough to sand. If you notice, I'm not using my palm sander to sand the leg because I want more control over the sanding process. That palm sander may take off a little too much in the wrong place, and then the leg that I've repaired won't look like the other leg on the other side of the bench. This will take me a little bit longer, but I will get the look I'm after. Everything is sanded, except for that one little repair area, which is just going to sit there for as long as I feel necessary. I have wiped down the bench really, really well, and now I'm painting. This paint is an exterior lucite in flat black. It's just a flat black. It is going to match everything else that I have in my decor throughout my yard, my gardens, and my porch. To get this bench completely painted the way it needs to be, it will take me a while, and I'm not going to make you suffer through watching me paint the entire thing. I will get a nice coat on it, then I will put it in the garage to dry overnight and finish sanding and painting tomorrow. And while this is drying, I'm going to turn my attention to that sweet little coffee table. This is the top of my coffee table. And the laminate on both sides is starting to pucker right where they meet. But no problem, I'm just going to repair that as well, in the exact same way with the exact same wood filler as I did the bench. I will work around that too while it dries. I will start painting the bottom. That wood filler is in place and it is starting to dry. The only way I was able to flip this over so I could continue working is because there's that really pretty decorative lip all the way around the perimeter of the top of my table. This is the exact same exterior lucite flat black paint that I used on my bench. I need to make sure that every bit of exposed wood gets painted because this little table is going outside. And it's not meant to be outside, it's meant to be in the house. But that is about to change. When it's finished, it's gonna join my garden bench on my front porch. One really nice thing about where these two pieces will sit is that it's pretty protected from the weather. Once the bottom part of my table is painted, I will paint the apron and the legs. When my wood filler is dry tomorrow, I will sand it down and paint the top.
Here's my bench. She still needs one last touch-up go round with the paint, but that's okay. It's looking pretty good. And my mended areas are much better. What I'm gonna do now is get some measurements for a cushion. Gonna make a cushion for this little rehabilitated garden bench. Once I measure it out, I'm gonna transfer all my measurements onto a piece of cardboard. That will give me a template for my fabric.
I only need the dimensions of the seat, so I measure the depth and I measure the width. To transfer my measurements onto my cardboard, I am using a Sharpie and a drywall square. Once I have my template drawn, I will cut it out. You do not need to do this step. You could just simply measure your fabric if you wish. I like to have some frame of reference that's visual. That way I know my measurements are correct. Once I have my template cut out, I try it on the bench to make sure it fits properly. Then I will make a secondary template. This template is 1 inch longer in every direction, so 2 inches width-wise and 2 inches depth-wise. This gives me my seam allowance. This is actually the size I will be cutting my fabric. Here's the beautiful fabric I will be using. It is an outdoor fabric and it is fade resistant. I have cut 2 straight edges on my fabric, one vertical and one horizontal, and I have clamped that fabric onto my template. This will make it very easy for me to cut the other 2 sides of my fabric evenly. Once I have my front panel cut out, I will cut out a duplicate for the back. If I didn't mention it, I purchased this bolt of fabric and many others at Joann Fabric when they were going out of business. I am going to take this project up a notch by adding a welted edge to my cushion. I am not using your traditional welting that you would buy in a craft or fabric store. I am using poly rope. This is just a plastic rope that you can get in any hardware store, and it is a fraction of the price that you would pay for traditional welting, and it's water resistant. Keep in mind, I am not a seamstress. I just wing it and do my own thing. And this is how I make welting. I cut a long strip of fabric, the length of all 4 sides of my cushion added together, plus a few more inches. This piece is right around 2¼ inches wide. I fold my fabric over my poly rope to create a long coil. This coil is what is the welting. It will become a decorative welted edge. Now I pin my welting to one of my fabric panels. They are pinned together right side to right side with the raw edges facing out, lined up together. I start in the center of the front of my cushion and work my way around to the back. This is what it looks like with all the welting pinned into place. I have added a gentle curve on all 4 corners, and the 2 ends meet in the back and cross over each other. Once they are sewn into place, you will never really see where the welting ends. And now it's time to sew this welting into place. To make this job easier, I changed out my regular foot for a zipper foot. It really works well for sewing on welting. I take my time, keeping that zipper foot nice and snug against the welting. This will give me a nice clean seam. I work my way all the way around the perimeter until I get to the back. Once totally sewn on, I cut off the ends of the welting. Now to pin the other panel in place. They are pinned right side to right side. I make sure the new panel is pinned nice and snug up against the welting. That way there's no weird gaps once it's sewn. Once both panels are pinned, I will sew them together. I will leave a gap in the back so I can flip the cushion cover right side out and stuff the cushion. Then I will sew that gap together and my cushion will be complete. Let's head on out to the porch and check out my flipped furniture. Here's my cushion. I'm satisfied with the construction, but I'm not sure if it's floofy enough. You know, I'm gonna be setting my fanny on there and I want to be comfortable. At the moment, I have the back just pinned shut because I am going to test this cushion multiple times before I sew it shut. I may add more polyfill. Here's that leg that was so rotted out. And now, you almost can't tell. You almost can't tell. Almost as good as new. And it's very sturdy, as is the section I repaired underneath the seat. And take a look at the top of the table. It looks better, right? I mean, it is definitely not puckering. You can see the seam, but it is not going to be peeling up anytime soon. The detail on the apron and legs is what really drew me to this table. And painted black, it not only matches my garden bench, but all the other wrought iron I have on my porch, which you will see in future videos. Let's get a good look at the 2 pieces together. I love this little nook on my porch. It makes me happy. It makes me smile. And if I'm sitting on that bench and I look to my right, I can see the area where I planted that chocolate vine a couple years ago. I will be doing an update on that section as well. I've added a couple new items and plants in that area. But I love the way these 2 pieces look together. And considering they're painted with outdoor paint and in a rather secluded area on my porch, I think they have a long life ahead of them. I think it's time to make some coffee and try out that cushion. This has been Flippin' Furniture Saturday. Thanks again to my co-host Crystal for joining me. You're going to find the links to her channel and this playlist in my description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, and share. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and don't forget to check out my shop on Etsy. Ring the bell for notifications of all my upcoming videos. Subscribe and join. 2 great ways to support my channel. But for now, this is Dawn with Shabby Meets Bling. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.